This is Mother Love Whispers. I know everybody would be shocked that I'm actually putting on a video within a couple weeks of the last one. But it just happens that I found something else that I'd written, and it's very special. I wrote it 16 years ago, and a little over that. Um, it was a very trying time, and I decided that if I wrote a journal, that it would help maybe the time go by, and also for us to never forget in case there were lessons learned from it or whatever. To begin with, my daughter, from the time she was born, she had a lot of sinus and respiratory problems. So she had a tonsillectomy and adenoidectomy at about 3 years old. And lo and behold, and she did okay with that, there were no problems, but it seemed like her respiratory problems remained. And when she was 5 years old, the ENT said that she actually needed another operation on her tonsils, which was weird. But she evidently had these just larger tonsils than usual, so she still had some tissue in there causing her problems. So they removed that when she was 5. Then, for years, it was constant going to the doctor with respiratory and sinus problems, and she got pneumonia 3 or 4 times, had to be hospitalized. It was just, we just got used to her having problems, and she had to use oh gosh, don't let me forget the name of that. Anyway, the breathing machine, the pressure machine that she had to use at night. She had to put the funny face thing on. And I know I'm a nurse and I should remember the name of that. But since I had that stroke, I'm having problems remembering the name for things. But yeah, that's what it is. So anyway, I'm leading up to the fact that she continued having multiple problems, and I took her to specialists, and they would say, wait until she stopped growing. Her bones have stopped growing. Her menstruation has began, that sort of thing. They said that it was wrong to do any type of surgery on her to remove these polyp-looking things on the back of her throat, because they would probably grow back. So she had these growths on the back of her tongue that looked like mushrooms, and a couple of them were about as big as a dime and raised. And so I was getting more and more worried as the years went by that she would choke or whatever. And of course she had to start using the sleep apnea machine when I noticed that she was stopping breathing during the night. So, and I had to sleep with her, of course. Anyway, at 14, I told the ENT she was seeing that I felt like those areas on the back of her throat were causing her choking hazard, that she just was gonna actually get choked somehow, and I didn't know whether we'd be able to do anything if that area swelled up worse than it did. So he said, okay, I can just remove that, and he had done a test. It was for esophageal reflux, and put a tube down her throat and checked to see if there was other abnormal material. And the report came back that she did have expansive growths on down. But for some reason, he never made a big deal out of that. And whenever I asked him to remove the tissue, he put her in the hospital. And I asked him, I said, and this was in our local area, I said, are you sure that you're going to be able to do this operation and there aren't going to be any problems? She was 14 years old. And he said, yes, of course, this is no big deal. We'll just take that off and she'll be able to, get by until we can do the massive surgery on her, because she also had an overbite, and he was talking about getting the dentist in there with him whenever he did the surgery on her tonsils in a larger way, to break her jaw and realign her teeth and do all this stuff so she'd have more room back there to breathe, and the sleep apnea would, get a help. So it was all just a lot to worry about. Anyway, when she was 14, we went in to have this surgery to remove these little things on her tongue back there. They looked like mushrooms. And so she asked me before she was intubated and put under, and the anesthesiologist was there talking with her. She said, Mommy, am I going to die? And I said, no, honey, no. There's people going to be with you. They'll make sure that you're fine. And Dr. Terrell said it's not going to be a problem, and this will help you be able to breathe better. So we were all, excited. The anesthesiologist called me about a half an hour into the surgery, and she said, see, I was a nurse in that hospital, so she knew me, and she said, Marie, you need to get Kelli out of here. You need to get your daughter out of here into a major medical center. She said, I was barely able to intubate her, and she said she has growths all down her throat like fronds on a grape, a cluster of grapes. You know how little fronds will go every which area holding on to those grapes. And she said that's exactly what it was like. She said, I barely was able to intubate her. And she said, and I will not extubate her. She said there's going to be swelling, and I just don't see anything good coming of this. She said, I don't know what Dr. Terrell told you, but this does not look good. Which, of course, my head just flew off my shoulders. My heart, about hers. This is my sunshine. This is my treasure. And, and she's gone through years of, her voice was messed up. She would be like, Mommy, Mommy. That's how she talked, because she had this stuff in her throat. And at school, she was bullied. It was hard for her to make friends because kids can be so mean. And then she wouldn't raise her hand to ask questions in school because she was embarrassed about how she talked. I had to get her counseling. And anyway, I wrote this journal, and this video is probably going to be longer than usual, but I hope that, if you are having any problems with anything, that you'll know that everybody's always got something going on, and, you live and you learn. And I learned that I should have taken her to a massive medical center to begin with, and when she had these growths. Anyway, here goes. Day 1, 12/10/04. Dearest Kelli Ann, today was supposed to be an important day for you. The day you said goodbye to the gunk in your throat that's caused you so many problems. Now I'm sitting by your bedside in ICU, not believing that a tonsil removal would put you in here. A tube runs down your throat to bring oxygen to your lungs because there's a danger your throat will close without it. There are 3 IV sites on your body with medicines pouring into your veins to keep you calm and unaware of your condition. A machine drones loudly, flushing air into your lungs like an accordion playing. A tube runs from your bladder, draining urine into a container strapped to your bed. You're unable to position yourself, so the nurse turns and props you to keep you comfortable. The weird thing is, despite the tape around your neck, holding the tube in your mouth, you look so beautiful, like a real angel. I'm helplessly watching as the monitor shows me all your vital signs, but all I want is to hear your voice and see your blue eyes open instead of closed. The nurses are allowing me to help suction your mouth when you have secretions you can't deal with. I'm so thankful for their compassion. Pastor John and Millie stayed for hours between them, giving your mom and dad comforting words and prayers. Debbie stopped by early in the day and called again later. She was driving the kids to see Christmas lights at Bluefield tonight, and I told her to please have a safe, great time. Pastor John came back after going to Pulaski just to comfort us and pray with us. Jane called, and I put the phone to your ear and told you Mama Jane was on the line. Your eyes rolled while she spoke to you. I held her. You seemed to hear her. In between all this, all of your brothers except Joey called for any news about you. Jane called. Your grandma called too. I spoke to Mandy, who immediately started into a prayer for you. Mrs. Taylor, Letha, Beth, and all kinds of the nursing staff, all praying for you. Missy's mom called into ICU for news and was sorry to hear the operation took this detour. Kelly, you are so loved. Even GB was practically in tears and said, anything I can do, I will for her. I just wanted you to know that here in this tiny room, my whole world is standing still. Until this crisis is over, God is holding us all as He does all the time. We just aren't as aware. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. All I can say on day 1. Day 2, I promised you I wouldn't leave you alone, but I slept in a bed down the hall from 2:30 to 4:30 this morning. I hated to leave your side, but I know I have to rest so I can be strong for you in the coming days. You are resting quietly now at 7 a.m. Your dad called around 5 a.m. to get things together for us to go to the big medical center. Your dad is a walking shadow of himself. He looks afraid to face the next minute, and I'm praying for him every second. He loves you so much and always has. The only way I go on without being able to talk to you is that God is holding me close as He is you. We are both sitting here in your room waiting on word of when you go to the medical center. Each second seems to go by so slow. I thank God for the many people who love you and are praying for you. As Pastor John prayed before you went off to surgery, I hope you're dreaming of beautiful places and people, times in your life. While we watch over you, He wanted angels to be camped around you. Amanda came by this morning to see you, and so did Holly Blair. Holly's mom, Susan, wanted to come too, but she's sick and didn't want you to get it. Mrs. Taylor and Selena both prayed for you during the night. I just got to hold your hand and felt you press my hand when I asked you to. It was so good to just have that connection with you. I'll let you know that your brothers, Mikey and Stuart, are coming to see you today too. Carla at work has also been praying for all of us. We are surrounded by caring friends and family. It's the greatest thing how prayer works on everybody it touches. The prayer and the praying. It's 10:45 now, and we're still waiting on a bed at Baptist Hospital for you. The charge nurse, Lisa, said she called the med center to see when it would be ready, but Dr. Terrell didn't communicate correctly that this was a transfer and not a consult to the specialist there. Now he has to call again and just now order a transfer. It's heartbreaking that you are lying here that much longer now because of an incorrect handling of your problem. I'll do anything I can to get you to the special care you need. I love you so much. Finally, we have word that a special ambulance is coming from the hospital for you. Mikey and Stuart have come in now to see you, and both are teary-eyed, standing beside you and whispering to you. Your eyeballs roll around under your closed lids as you try to open your eyes and come to full awareness. Finally, your eyes barely open. You squeeze their hand to let them know you know they're here. They're so happy to have had contact with you, just like I was and your dad. Your brothers insisted on taking us downstairs for a meal. They know that we're probably not taking good care of ourselves, worrying beside here. You don't eat like you should when you're like that. We got back to your room. The boys said so long till later this week when they'll see you again. Maybe 15 minutes later, Beth came by and brought your red hat bear and Mommy a Christmas angel to wear. I know you'll love the bear. She has attitude and sass like you. Beth also pushed a large amount of spending money in my hands for help with expenses while we're at the medical center. I thank God for good, kind people like her. My heart feels good and how much love there is for us. It's a sad situation. I just know God is working His way through this. You're going to be a great witness for Him after your crisis is over. Now the ambulance is here for you. There's 2 men and 1 woman. The tallest guy is from Massachusetts, like your brother, and is very comforting toward letting your dad and I know about the medical center and the great care all the kids get there. They take you off the bed to a stretcher. All the nurses in the ICU gather around to wish you the best and offer prayers. We're on our way behind the ambulance to Winston-Salem, South Carolina. When we find the hospital, I can't believe how big it is, but it's beautiful inside. Also, your room is on the 6th floor. Your nurse is right in your room and doesn't leave you. We get to stay beside you, and we're so happy. You're allowed to be more awake and know that we're here. You've done so well during the night. This is day 3. Using the pad to write on has seemed to help you get over the frustration of not being able to talk. I try not to imagine how awful it must be for you. I hope I can help you to understand why you have to have the tube and your hands tied like this. Only God is really giving you the comfort it takes to be calmer right now. We're all so proud of your bravery and faith. We spoke to the surgeon yesterday who's doing your throat surgery. He examined you and told us he will do your surgery. You were taken to surgery 2 hours ago. Your dad and I are waiting for a report from the surgeon now. The nurse got to come with you all yesterday and has done a terrific job keeping you pain-free, comfortable, and well as possible. Or it would have been horrible if we'd had anyone at all through this crisis that was insensitive and incompassionate. I praise God for the excellent care and wonderful people you've benefited from. Every now and then I let a negative thought come in my mind, such as, what if the biopsy of your throat tissue comes back positive for something bad? I refuse to allow Satan to take the victory away from God that he's given to you. Even your struggle changes to something else. As long as you belong to God, the true victory is yours. His grace is sufficient for you. He alone guides and keeps you. There truly is a marvelous balm that God applies to our hearts, minds, bodies, and lives that encompasses every facet of our being, a peace that passes all understanding. Hallelujah. I'm living in that bubble right now, and so are you, little girl. Your faith is feeding the umbilical line to your Father in heaven, and it's returned to you in gifts only He can give. I burst into joyful tears as I wrote just now, and you opened your eyes to see why. I let you know they're happy tears of thankfulness. You softly close your eyes back in a look of calmness now, and I'm talking about, if I say anything else in life, I don't care. As long as if I've done anything else in life, I don't care. As long as I've made God a living belief in your everyday life, not a dead sentiment. I left you to go with your dad and take care of some things at about 10:30. Guess who was on the main floor when we got off the elevator? Pastor John and Jimmy Reynolds here to see you. It was so great to see our brothers, and I know you you loved it when they came to your bedside to talk and pray with you. We had a great time. Dr. Kearse came by and told us that what the plan is for you so far. He's going to maintain your throat for healing as the operation gets splendid, and try to take the tube out after that. We are very optimistic that you've done so well. And that's neat too. There's a Ronald McDonald House. Which is really neat. I love this whole place. I left you to go with your dad and take care of some things at about 10:30. Guess who was on the main floor when we got off the elevator? Pastor John and Jimmy Reynolds here to see you. It was so great to see our brothers, and I know you loved it when they came to your bedside to talk and pray with you. We had a great time. Dr. Kearse came by and told us what his plan is for you so far. He'll check your throat for healing and try to take the tube out after that. We're very optimistic over how you've done and will be in the future. Given the nurses can't wait to see you and hear your voice without it, the tube. It breaks my heart when they have to suction you. Your face gets so red, and I can tell your throat hurts so much. I wish it were me and not you, but there's just no way. The only thing I will say that is worse is all the babies and other children here that are waiting for the answer to very different type of diagnoses. One little baby is waiting for a heart transplant. You're blessed to not have that type of suffering, so I have to consider that. My prayers go out to all of them. Tonight is Trading Mommies and the Swan, so I'll sit with you and watch it. I made your dad go home because his back was hurting. He needs to go home for a little. Amy is with you tonight as your nurse. It's your dad's birthday. Oh no, it's her birthday. She's very precious and caring. You're very sleepy, so I'll watch some of Trading Mommies with you. Then the nurses find a room for me to sleep some. I really hate getting into the van to go a block from the hospital, but I know I have to rest. I won't even say how sleep evades us when our babies are in crisis. The bed at Hawthorne Inn feels great. Day 5. Today I came into your room at 5:30 to be with you before the bronchoscopy. The doctor will know if it's okay to take your endotracheal tube out and let you breathe on your own if it's okay. They will sedate you, medicate you for the test. Then after you become alert, the tube will be removed if all goes well. My prayers never stop. Day 5 continued. At 6:30 a.m. I leave you to make calls to your dad at home and to update on him. I tell your dad you might get the tube out. He's still in so much pain with the gout in his back. I tell him just to relax at home and pray, and that I'll call him. Let me see. At 7:30, the doctor has done the bronchoscopy, and you look so horrible when I come into your room. You're still in the position you were when they did the test. Your neck is, you are on your back, and your eyeballs are half open, and your neck is very hyperextended. You just look like death warmed over. After about 5 minutes, the nurse, Elaine, comes in. I've used the yanker suction to clean your mouth some and a toothette to moisten your tongue a little. And I ask if it's okay to reposition your head because your neck looks so in a strain. She says it's okay. And we go ahead and do that. And you cough and we get you in a better position. After you're suctioned and everything, which is always horrible, you look a little better and are waking up some. Finally, you're waking up a lot, and we explain to you that the doctor might remove the tube, and you'll need to be calm and try to breathe well on your own. You squeeze my hand that you understand. The doctor comes in about an hour later, maybe less, than other doctors and 2 nurses and a respiratory therapist. I get permission to stay in your room as they remove your tube, encouraging you to stay calm and breathe on your own. And you are extubated and given oxygen via a half mask. And you do smile, and then you look up at me and say softly, "I love you." Aww. Your ordeal of being tied down on each wrist is over, along with not being able to talk. I go out to the waiting room to call your dad. I can't reach him. The lady who is in the next room to yours with her baby, who's waiting on a heart transplant, comes by, and we pray together for an answer on her baby's heart. While I'm finishing talking to that mother, I hear a rustle at the door behind me, and in walks your dad. He says, "How's she doing?" I don't tell him you're breathing on your own and able to talk. I just take him into the unit to see you. He's so happy to hear "I love you" from his baby girl. You know the rest of your story, Kelly. God's with you all the way through life, just as he brought you through this. You finish writing from here with his hand guiding you. God bless you, Angel, Mom. And that was just a shocking trial of time. Even though you were in a drug-induced coma, it didn't make a difference. You weren't able to talk. You weren't able to get your hands to your face. You were tied down, and you were in pain. So it was getting you through it. And the most wonderful part, after you had healed and you were feeling much better, and you gave your testimony at church for I think it was near the 16th of December. So you wore your beautiful red and black outfit, and you looked lovely. And your voice was a high soprano. I mean, as far as, when you sang like a bird, it was just beautiful to be able, and clear. Nobody could believe when they answer the phone. Whenever you would answer the phone, they thought it was me. And it was just amazing. And you've been amazing thereafter. I'm so happy that God was with us through that time. And thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you. And I really pray that your life is going good, and that answers are being given to you. Strength and wisdom and just precious peace. You have a nice night. God bless you. I love y'all. Toodaloo.